Sairam, in the last session, I was mentioning about the Bhaja Govindam drama and our trip to Mumbai. So we got into the train. A separate bogie had been arranged for us, and there were Seva Dal volunteers who were looking after us 24 hours of the day. In fact, the journey consisted of 2 stops in 2 different junctions. One was the Pune junction, there was one more junction before we reached Mumbai. And it would take more than 24 hours those days to reach Mumbai. Every hour they would bring something and make us eat. And it was such a wonderful experience. They looked after us with so much of love and affection. And we reached Mumbai the next day. And in fact, in the railway station, there were young Seva Dal volunteers who would not even allow us to carry a bag. They said that when we protested and said, no, after eating so much we need exercise, they said, if you want, we'll take you to the gym. But you are not permitted to carry your luggage. It is an opportunity that Swami has given us, and we are not going to lose it by giving the chance to you to carry your luggage. That's what they said. And so we reached Bombay, and Mumbai used to be called Bombay those days. And we were put up at Juhu. There was a Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan campus, not exactly Juhu. It was in a suburb of Bombay. This campus of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan was in Andheri West. And so that's where we were put up in the hostel there. And that afternoon, we went to Dharmakshetra. We were all, in those days, we did not wear white dress. And we were all in colored dress. And when we went up the hillock to Dharmakshetra, the Seva Dal volunteers would not allow us. And from his room, Swami saw and came on to the top of Dharmakshetra and waved to us and asked us to come. And so we went to Sathya. We are all seated in Sathya, and we noticed that a lot of hectic preparations were going on, because it was on that occasion that the Sarva Dharma Stupa was inaugurated. This is just outside Sathya in Dharmakshetra. And then Swami came down, he looked at all of us and spoke to us and asked how was the journey and all that, and then said, come, we will go for that function. And so we all went outside and sat on the lawns, and Swami inaugurated this stupa. I remember I was wondering, this stupa was wrapped in a cloth, and Swami pulled some string and the whole thing came down. The whole cloth covering came down and the stupa was lit up. It was very beautiful. And I remember on that occasion there was a young lad, almost our age, who sang very beautifully. He sang a song, Sumar Manuva, Sumarre Panchatattva Suvichar. That was a song that he sang. And he sang it so beautifully. This song had the message of all the 5 religions. It talks of the Omkar, the primeval sound, which is there in the heart of the individual and the heart of the universe. And it talks of the fire which will burn away all your sins and make you emerge grand, great and godly. And then it talks of the Kala Chakra, the chakra which, the cycle, the Dharmakshetra, and how it is very important to remember that what goes round comes around, and therefore we have to be very careful about what we do, because it will come back to us. And there was, of course, the message of removing the ego, which the cross represents. Swami says the cross is actually I, which has been cut. So that is what the cross is all about. So these messages were all very beautifully brought out in that. But it also, in the song, it also says, the symbol of all this is Bhagawan himself. He is the symbol of the unity of all these religions. At a time when there is so much of conflict between the religions, the Sai religions brings out the essence of all the religions and shows that primarily they all bring out the same religion, the religion of love. That's what this whole thing was about. At the end of the song, I remember Swami came ahead and just hugged this young boy, and invited him to come to Prashanthi Nilayam. He said in November there will be another stupa which will be inaugurated in Prashanthi Nilayam for the 50th birthday celebrations. You come and sing this song there also. And that lad is today very famous in the bhajan world. He is called by the name Anup Jalota. Anup Jalota was the one who was singing at that time, and Swami was very happy. And as we went inside, Swami asked us how we liked the singing and so on. We had a beautiful session with Swami sitting on the lawns, and after that we had dinner with Swami and left for to our hostel, which was there in Andheri West. The next day, Swami sent us to the King's Circle, that is where Shanmukhananda Auditorium was there. Shanmukhananda Auditorium was the biggest hall in those days in Asia, pillarless, and therefore we had our drama there. The acoustics were simply superb. The next morning we had our program. There was also a Bal Vikas program which was there as part of that entire program, and Swami was present, and there were thousands of devotees who had come from all over Bombay, and the Bal Vikas program also was very beautiful and excellent it was. At the end of it, of course, Swami gave all of us Pad Namaskar, and he introduced all of us to the dignitaries who had come, and Swami came up the stage, okay, and then he said, "Hey, all of you come to Dharmakshetra for lunch." And Swami left from there. He had to go, I think, to the mayor's house. The mayor had invited Swami to come to his house, and so Swami said, "Okay, on the way I will come." And after Swami left, we took away our makeup and all that, and then we realized, since all of us were sannyasis, we had removed all the rings and chains and watches. Most of them were given by Swami, materialized by Swami, and so we had kept it in one place. And imagine our shock when we discovered that all of these had disappeared. They had completely disappeared, and we searched every possible place multiple times, and we could not get it. And so by the time we landed back in Dharmakshetra, it was almost 3 o'clock. But whom did we find? Right at the entrance, Swami was waiting for us, and Swami asked, "What happened, boys? What happened? Why are you so late?" And we said, "Swami, this is what happened." Swami said, "No problem. You wash your hands and feet and come and eat first." And so food was served, and we all started eating. It was only when we are about to finish, someone went and asked Swami something, and Swami signaled yes. Then we saw that the plate for Swami was brought. Swami had not eaten anything because he was so concerned about all of us. And after Swami finished eating, he called all of us, and then he materialized back all that had been lost and gave it and said, "See, when I give you something, it will never go anywhere. It will always come back to me. So don't worry. When you get Swami, you get everything in this world." That's what he said. We'll stop with this for today and continue in the next session. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Shri Sathya Sai Baba Ji ki Jai.